I'm an area engineer in District 10 Construction Department.
My name is Brett Ginn, Project Superintendent, Shelly and Sands.
Derek Tiemann, District 10 ODOT. I was the project engineer. In February 2019, hillside above State Route 376 below McConnelsville in Morgan County began to slide into the river and pushing 376 further towards the river.
It's located just south of McConnelsville and just north of the Morgan High School.
The urgency of the project obviously was to get the school bus through there safely, and there's assisted living down the road, so it was urgent that we get first responders through.
I live approximately 6 or 7 miles north of McConnelsville, so this is a relatively close project for me. I know a lot of people in the area that were anxious to get this project open.
The project bid amount was $7.8 million. The final project cost was just over $8 million.
After design, it involved excavating approximately 350,000 cubic yards of material to unload the slip above the roadway, plus an additional approximately 200 feet of drilled shaft wall. It involved permanent casing on every shaft due to the close proximity to the Muskingum River and the potential for water in the shafts. So this project had Proposal Note 109 included on it, which is a dispute resolution advisor.
The project selected Jack Ford Consulting as this role. When we had the original DRA meeting, it was decided amongst Shelly and Sands and ODOT to ask Jack if he would be willing to be the partnering facilitator as well, although Proposal Note 111 was not on the project. And he agreed to do that, and this actually helped the project a lot.
We had conversations and all agreed to have a formal partnering session before the project began. That went really well. We had it at the Morgan County Garage, had several members of Shelly and Sands, high-level management, as well as the district deputy director from ODOT.
We all got together and had a pre-job meeting. Got to meet a lot of people I didn't even know. A perspective, it brought us all closer together.
So one of the goals that was developed during the original partnering meeting on the project was to make sure that the public was well informed of what was going on in the project and critical dates for completion. Our public information officer was really good at keeping the public informed on social media throughout the life of the project. We found that this is a very good tool. Part of the way through the excavation of the original soil mass, we hit solid competent rock approximately 20 feet above what the plans had shown. So we got the designer and our project manager Andy Moreland on site, looked at it and determined that we could leave this rock, that it was competent and there was no need to further excavate. So this was at the time a major cost savings to the project, and in the long run it saved the project probably $150,000. And that in turn helped out with the additional slip that happened. We were able to use excavation quantity for that slip.
We was coming into inclement weather, going into winter, so we proposed to ODOT. We went to them and we wanted to use off-road trucks to move it faster, double shift it.
They mentioned that they had a waste area just up the road from the actual project site, and they mentioned that they could expedite the work on the project if they would actually use articulated trucks instead of on-road trucking. We all met at the district office and discussed the pros and cons.
That was the big challenge to start with on the job, was getting that agreement together and talking to the public, talking to the homeowners to get them all on board to allow this to happen.
We ended up agreeing to share in the cost of any potential damage that occurred on the haul road for the articulated trucks versus an on-road truck.
Actually would have got the job completed over a month, maybe 2 months ahead of time, had another challenge not occurred.
We was finishing up putting the drainage in. We laid the base and we just asphalted the road. And another slip appeared to the north of the job that was encroaching down onto the road. So ODOT came to us and said, hey, we have to fix this now before we open the road for safety issues.
It was very difficult to determine, how much material do we take off this. We were afraid we would have to just chase it up the road even further. Ended up being approximately another 40,000 cubic yards. The area had already been cleared and grubbed, so it was a matter of Shelly and Sands mobilizing back in with their equipment and start excavating again.
Obviously in March 2020, COVID-19 kind of hit everybody in the state. As far as on the project, communications were a little bit confusing up front because nobody really knew how to disperse material tickets, things like that.
And at ODOT, we were work from home. It was a shock to us, really, trying to figure out how to communicate with contractors, how to communicate with our own staff. I think everybody's adjusted well. It's definitely a different construction world than it was a year ago.
We try to partner on all of our projects directly with the contractor, whether it's facilitated or not. So it was kind of an eye-opening experience to see the formal partnering process, to lay out goals up front and lay out potential problems up front.
Issues arise daily. Anyone that has been in construction knows that. So as far as partnering goes, the biggest effect it had on the project was to keep the project moving forward without any shutdowns, any delays.
You go into a project with a bad attitude, you have a bad attitude that comes out. That's just what happens. I'm not saying you have to agree on everything, because you're going to agree to disagree, move on to the next thing.
You have to have a working relationship. You're going to be working with them every day. Try not to go in guns a-blazing to a project and keep an open mind.